what do we want to say about FSA? All right.
Well,
so,
I guess the reason we wanted to talk about it was because
there you go. All
lately,
that fondness there.
Can you behave for 2 minutes?
I'm trying to get you on the camera.
So, because I've been having like ear aches and jaw pain and all this craziness, so I went to the dentist and I had to get a night guard. So, it's not cheap, but because of FSA, it's still our money, but at least it's money that we set aside for this purpose. So we used it for that. Right. So that's how the topic.
Hey, Cheryl.
Hey, Cheryl. That's how the topic of an FSA came up.
All right. So FSA is a flexible spending account, and I mean there are different types of accounts like that. Some people may have a HSA, a health savings account, but for FSA, flexible spending account, it's an account that allows you to save up money from your paycheck to pay for certain medical expenses. And what's so special about that, rather than just putting the money in your savings account after you get your check, is that it comes out of your check before they calculate taxes. So, if you have $100 every paycheck coming out and your check is $2,000, then taxes are calculated on $1,900, let's say, because that is actually deducted before that. So you get whatever taxes you would have paid on that $100. You get to save that, and then you get to have this money sitting waiting for you if you have a medical expense. Another good thing about a flexible spending account is that if you have, and this may vary by plan or by administrator, but typically what I've seen, at least in the 2 jobs where I've had it, is if you have expenses that exceed the amount of money that's been taken out for the year that you actually have set aside, as long as it doesn't exceed the amount that will be taken out by the end of the year, they'll let you put in a claim for it.
That's what I like. It's pretty much you can spend the money ahead of time. Yeah. That's what he's trying to say.
Yeah. So last year, we maxed it out.
In January.
The most you can put in is $2,500.
$2,500.
So, we max it out every year. So last year, we actually had that spent in January.
Yeah. So, my device that I use for my migraines, we leased it for the whole year. So that amount is over $2,000.
Yeah. So
we used our FSA for that last year in January. So we were able to cover that and not have to come out of our own pocket.
Right. So that's another thing that I like about it. So, and they actually will tell you. I think our tax savings was like $750 last year, based on what I would have paid in taxes, and also the actual medical costs. It used to be better a few years ago, a flexible spending account, because you used to be able to have anything
any kind of medical thing. Band-Aids.
Tylenol,
cough syrup,
condoms, all those things.
Right.
And some of those things still are, but a lot of those things were taken away. A lot of over-the-counter medication was taken off. Thanks, Obama. But yeah, so a lot of the things that you could have claimed were taken off, and the only way to claim those types of over-the-counter medications and things like that now is to claim them when you file your tax return. And as you know, up until this year, you had to have 10% above your adjusted gross income in order to be able to claim any medical expenses. And it's only the expenses that are more than 10%. Now it's 7.5% for, I think, this year and next year with the new tax bill. Then it goes back up. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's why we like flexible spending accounts, FSA.
Guys, it was good too, because at the end of the year, pretty much if you don't use what's in your flexible spending account, you lose it.
Yeah.
So I believe you have a certain amount of time after the year is up, though.
3 months.
3 months. I wasn't sure if it was 3 or 6. Yeah. So you have 3 months to use everything, but if you don't, you lose that money. So back when you could purchase like all these over the counter things. If we had extra money, we could stock up on things, that we know we would use. So we lost that benefit, and that was kind of sad.
Yeah. So just, keep that in mind. Even if you have a flexible spending account now, even though some of the, those over-the-counter drugs can't be claimed anymore, you still have that benefit of anything that you buy for the first 3 months can still come out of the previous year's
Right.
allocation. So
And also your medical miles count with your FSA. So
Right.
if you have that money hanging in there that you have to use, remember to count your miles to your doctor, to your pharmacy.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
Anything you do for medical, anything that's medically related, you can claim that your miles for it. So just remember those types of things. And a flexible spending account, to me, it's a way to make sure that you're going to get some tax savings. Like I said, because most of us, fortunately, thank God, we don't have medical expenses that are enough for us to claim on our taxes, and make any dent. So it's good to be able to actually just get it now, knowing that we're not going to accumulate enough throughout the year. So
We should talk about HSAs though. And I mean another time.
yeah,
Because that is another thing that people might be interested in talking about.
Yeah, especially now. I mean, with everyone has to be covered over, I think it's 26 years old, has to have insurance coverage. So yeah, that might be something too to talk about.
But yeah, so that's why the topic of FSAs came up, is because we had to use us for a pretty big purchase or expense this week.
And if you can tell them why we haven't, if you still have the device, how come we haven't?
Okay, so the reason why I did not pay for my $2,000 lease device for my migraines this year with my FSA is because I want to try again to claim it with my insurance company. It wasn't covered in the past. Like this device was just recently approved by the FDA. Insurance companies aren't aware of it, so it's they're working on trying to get inroads with insurance companies. So I tried probably about 3 years ago. It didn't get covered. So I want to try again this year, just to see if that's a possibility. And the thing is, if I was to pay for it through FSA, I can't, claim it with my insurance company. So I can't, you can't do both. So I want to try with the insurance company first, see if they would refund me the money. And if they don't, then I will, send the receipt to FSA, and whatever's left over, get some of the money back that way.
We'll just drain the account.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But that's the reason. So I want to try to file the claim with my insurance company first and see what happens.
Right. So, I mean, that's also something else. I mean, the flexible spending account can pay for co-pays and co-insurance and things like that, and whatever isn't covered. So if you have, like, out-of-network costs that you have to pay for, you can, pay for that. From the flexible spending account. Like I said, different devices count, they'll pay for. That's why I thought the scale counted, but it didn't. But a DEXA scan does, would go against that. So just, again, keep those things in mind if you get a flexible spending account. I think it's a great tool if you have anything. You can start off small 1 year, and then the next year say, okay, well, we spent these $300, so let me go up from there. Or if you have allergies and you have to get a certain device, or if you get prescriptions or something like that, once a month, then at least to get enough to cover the copay on your prescriptions. Right.
I mean, that's the one thing I guess we didn't specify is you don't have to get that maximum amount of $2,500.
Right. Yeah, you can get anything up to that amount. So I would say if you haven't done it because you're just like, whatever, I'm not going to use it, start small and then use it. You'll see the tax savings that you get out of it, and then you see how easy. I mean, for us, we have a credit card. So it's not like we have to file a claim. Only when they say, we're not sure what this receipt covered, so send us a copy of the receipt.
Right.
But other than that, we have a credit card that I use at the pharmacy, and we use at other places. Go to any doctor's office, hey, use this credit card to pay for the copay.
That's also important. Don't think you can be slick and use your FSA card for stuff.
Yeah.
Because either it'll get denied if it's, they obviously know it's not a medical expense.
Right.
Or if you spend something they're not sure of, they will say, if you don't give us proof that this is for something that is eligible, we will cancel this card, or cancel this expense that you tried to apply.
Yeah, and some things they need
or they'll freeze your card.
Note
That's what I mean to say. They'll freeze your card,
right?
So you can't use it until you settle that issue.
And then you're stuck filing claims,
right,
for everything until you clear that one thing up.
Yep.
So
they're smart. Can't do what you want. So that's the FSA thing.
Right. All right. So for the week, I mean, you saw again, we had another week of just half a pound down.
After talking all big last week, like, we're not going to have this. We're going to work this out. We're going to lose more than half a pound. We didn't do it.
Yeah. I think it was actually like 0.4 pounds.
Yeah.
Not even half.
You had to just go there, huh?
I'm just saying.
You had to tell
like,
them that it wasn't even like a true half a pound.
But for me, just keep in mind that I take a 10-day average of my weight. So I actually saw 2 days in a row the lowest weight on the scale that I've seen in a very, very long time. So I'm definitely moving in the right direction.
Yes.
Like I said, seeing those numbers, it just didn't have a huge impact on the overall weight because, well, one of them was the first day of this week, and the one before that was 1 day out of the last 10. So I do that so that fluctuations don't kill me. I mean, can you imagine you being at, let's say 200 pounds all week, and then you do something the day before you weigh in, and now you're at 204 pounds. And so now you're thinking, oh my gosh, I gained 4 pounds, but really you're 200 if you just take an average. So that's why I do that.
Yeah, I don't want to weigh myself every day, so I'm not that cool. But also, if we're honest, which I don't mind being honest in this regard, at least. So he lost 0.4 pounds. I didn't lose any weight. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't happy about that, but I'm still happy that I'm not gaining. But I think more importantly is thanks to my trusty Fitbit, I am more active than ever. I'm not beating any records. I'm losing every challenge that we're in. But I mean, it's still pretty cool because for me, I am still purposely more active than I have been in a long while. So I know that that's improving. So, even though, I'm not going to see any I'm not seeing any big losses yet, I'm good with that because I know I'm more active. I know I'm tracking my eating. I know what I'm eating is better. Not eating out as much. Well, not like we did last week.
Last we didn't eat out, did we?
Oh, was it
just the one time.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it was the week before. One of these weeks was that. So in either case, like those things to me, as we title this, we're going in the right directions, and I feel really good about that.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I mean, her being really active is making me feel good. And last week I was able to be more active. I mean, okay, last week I did a lot of walking.
This guy's going crazy. I know every week I talk about how nuts he is, but he's just he's like increasing the level of craziness.
Not today.
Go ahead. No, that's not. Today you did over 15,000 steps.
Okay, but so I'll just say last week during the work week, I didn't say it on here, but my goal in my mind was I wanted to average more than 20,000 steps a day for the work week. So that means getting over 100,000 steps for the 5 days. So I just had to make sure I did that. So right now I'm at like not here, right?
No, he's not here.
Okay. So I'm at like 16,000 right now. And I mean, the day is almost over. I'm going to go in here, edit this video and do that stuff. So, looking at 16,000, I'm not trying to get 20 today. Like, I'm not in a race to get 20. I mean, we got some boxes that
Let him not act like he wasn't.
Thing,
let him not act like he wasn't tempted. He was tempted.
I am.
He wants that 20.
I still am thinking about it.
See, he really wants that 20.
But here's the thing: if I finish with let's say I finish with 16, right? And I have 4 more days. I just got to average 21,000 a day over those 4 days.
This guy.
So I don't have to have 20 every day.
So as I said, my man really is going crazy. And it continues to increase every week. Well, I am proud of him though, but he's nuts.
Well, the thing is for me right now because of my compartment syndrome on my shins, because of my back, and said even just the weak shoulder, I can't do a lot of the other conventional exercises or even bodyweight exercises that I would want to do. So walking is like my only form of exercise right now.
Yeah.
And so I have to push my body and push myself with it. Thanks, Cheryl. I have to push myself hard because I am trying to become fit. I'm trying to get my body stronger. I'm trying to get my heart rate up so that my resting heart rate will be lower and just trying to be healthy. And since I don't have those other avenues, walking is what I have to do. So I have to push myself because when I was exercising before, I always pushed myself,
So on the other hand, for me, today, I hardly walked. And besides that, I didn't have my watch on a lot today.
Wow.
But, but I am really, I'm having a hard time. So I have been more active, which has been great, but my body's been going through a lot more pain as a result. So I have to figure out the right balance. And the thing that I'm trying to fight against is, especially with fibromyalgia pain and needing more rest and not having a lot of energy, I'm trying to fight against being discouraged and just not doing anything, because it's really easy to just, I'm in pain, so when you're in pain, you're just like, oh, forget it. And I don't want to be like that. So today was rough. Like, I feel like the last week of trying to be active every day has caught up with me. But I'm trying my best to, like, I'm not like giving up, and I'm trying to really just stay up and just like, okay, I'm going to rest. I'm going to, do what I need to do and then get back to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been really good. I've been really glad that you're able to be active like that. It's been making me feel good. And
yeah, I like when he doesn't come home from work and I'm in the bed. I really like that. I want to come home and that's where he left me.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great if we could walk. If I can come home and then we can walk and just talk about our day. But we have to get to that point, and I mean, it's going to be tough for her. I've been going in work earlier, and I've committed to going in earlier so I can get home earlier.
Honestly, I love it because he was going into work later, and part of that, as he shared, was him not having his testosterone and just really struggling, to sleep and then to wake up. Like, he was really struggling bad. So he's been working hard to get to work earlier. So he's home earlier, so I get to see him before nightfall, which is wonderful.
Okay, so, I mean, intermittent fasting, we're still doing that. I mean, honestly, I've kind of always, as an adult, done intermittent fasting. Yeah. I guess the only thing is I wouldn't have a cap in the evening. I would just eat until I fall asleep, like, in my adult, I was young. So, that's the only difference, but I've always gone a long time without eating, and we know it has a lot of, that has a lot of benefits. And one of the things is just with our schedule, just being in a consistent schedule. I mean, today I ate something for lunch. I usually don't. I usually don't eat when I'm at work at all, or I'll have like a bar or something, with a little bit of fat, just so I can take my vitamins. I actually usually take my vitamins about 3 o'clock or something like that. Mm-hmm. I'll eat around 3 or 4, if I eat at work, and then I'll come home and then have 2 meals at home, like one when I first get home and then one a little later. And that just seems to work really well for me, with my eating patterns, with the way that I'm working, with everything like that. So, it's been really good. The goal that I'm as proud of, maybe more proud of than the 20,000 steps a day during the work week, is that I got 12,000 steps on Saturday.
The weekends
are harder. Yeah, it's tough because I have so many things to do on a typical Saturday. I mean, I usually have about between 110 and 130 tasks on my list every Saturday. So I usually don't have time to say, let me go out and spend an hour walking. And I'm home and I'm just sitting in front of the computer, and then I'm like doing stuff in our bathroom and changing the garbage. Then maybe I'll take the garbage out, little things like that. And usually I don't take the garbage out. I'll just stack it by the room, by the front door, and try to take it out the next day or something, because I'm just in that mode of just being busy. Let me just tick off all these tasks in a row. So, and this Saturday was even worse with that because we had a wedding.
We were at a wedding.
So, and I ended up having to do a lot of stuff for the wedding.
Yeah, I was going to say, he got a lot of stuff because he was doing a lot. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, he was walking around quite a bit.
Yeah, so, but I didn't have enough steps, and I came home and had to go walk for an hour.
Yes, he did.
To get more steps. I just didn't have enough steps when I came back, and it was like late, so I was just like, okay, so I went out and walked for about an hour.
And you know what? That's probably why my feet hurt, because those shoes that I wore for that wedding were hurting.
My feet were hurting too, because I had on dressy shoes that I never wear them.
Hurting my feet.
And I'm telling you, like, if it was for almost anybody else, I'd have been like,
right.
I'm not. But because
she's
of
special.
who got me, yeah.
She's very special.
I was just like, okay, I'll do anything for this person, but not too many others.
So my goal for this past week was to do more stretching, especially my neck stretches, and I just failed. I was just, what happens, I'm not going to talk about spoon theory. I won't even do it. Good. But what I will say is, my energy on a day-to-day is very limited, and so... especially with the wedding coming up and other things, with that, I just ended up using my energy for other things. And then by the time I was in bed, I was not trying to do my neck stretches or any other kind of stretching. So that is my goal again for this week. I really, especially, I mean, you probably noticed me on this video, like doing things because my neck is hurting really badly. So I'm gonna do my neck stretches and other stretches just to help with some of the pain that I'm in.
Yeah, and that was one thing, at least that I wrote in the Instagram post, that I didn't do my stretching goals either. Stretching out my hamstrings and trying to loosen my glutes and things like that every day. So I need to do that as well. I mean, that's on my to-do list to do it, and I just haven't been keeping up with that. Same thing. When I come to bed, I'm just ready to come to bed and ready to sleep. So I'm not doing all those things that I need to. So I had to make sure that I'm doing that stuff, especially the hamstring stretches, if I'm going to be walking this much, to make sure that they don't get tight.
Yeah, but I think that was our week.
Yeah. I mean, I think we did good. We wrote to we only ate out one time, and that was on our way to the rehearsal dinner.
Yeah.
I didn't eat on Friday at all. And then Sherrian had the car. She picked me up.
And then we went straight to
we went right there.
church.
So he stopped at a deli and actually got sandwiches.
Yeah,
so.
We didn't eat badly either.
Right.
So.
I didn't even get chips. Like, what was that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's about that time. But the one thing that I was happy about is totally unrelated to all this. But just a little piece of joy for my week is. I love writing songs, and I kind of had a breakthrough with a song that's been turning in my head for months, and so I got to work on that all week, and that really lifted my spirits. So I just wanted to share that little piece of joy this week.
All right, good. So I think that's about it. Yes. That beeping that you hear is my salmon that's in the oven. And so it's ready, and the microwave timer is just going to keep beeping.
It's just going to keep going, yeah.
So I think that's our cue to just cut it off now. Don't have anything else to say. Again, if you have any questions, you can go to the Instagram post where we post this stuff and write, or you can just write on Facebook and she can respond there.
I'm there.
All right, and if anybody has a Fitbit and want to connect, just let me know. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Have a good week.
Bye-bye.